The 28th of June 2018, 1726 article. View option. Seoul, June 28, Yonhap. A number of South Korean scholars have called for the resumption of Seoul's humanitarian aid to North Korea even before international sanctions on the North are lifted. Opinions in favor of immediately sending shipments of humanitarian aid and supplies related to the basic needs of North Korean people were raised in an open debate in the Korea Development Institute review of the North Korean economy and published by the state-run think tank on Thursday. Kim Sok-jin, a researcher of the Korea Institute for National Unification (KINU), said in the debate that the ongoing positive atmosphere on the Korean peninsula should be sustained, though the anti-North economic sanctions should be respected to help the international community maintain its negotiating power. He wanted aid to North Korea to be resumed in fields such as health, medicine, environment and agricultural development, saying that fiscal support should be increased for United Nations organizations in charge of assisting the North and that the activities of local non-governmental organizations should be encouraged. Kim interpreted recent remarks from U.S. President Donald Trump as indicating that sanctions on the North could be eased if Pyongyang takes important denuclearization measures prior to its complete denuclearization. But he predicted that any meaningful inter-Korean economic exchanges would be realized only after almost all sanctions, including financial ones, were lifted. Some scholars, meanwhile, advised the South Korean government to remove its own sanctions on the North and discuss exceptional measures on a case-by-case basis even before the United States ends its sanctions. Jang Hong-soo, a professor at Hanyang University, said that the so-called May 24 measures, imposed in May 2010 following the North's torpedo attack on South Korean naval ship Cheonan, are far stronger than the UN sanctions. Humanitarian aid and human exchanges should now be excluded from the May 24 measures, Jang insisted in the debate. Jung Hong-gon, a senior researcher at the Korea Institute for International Economic Policy, proposed that South Korea begin consultations with the UN Security Council and the U.S. about exceptional aid measures for North Korea. Non-profit public infrastructure projects, for instance, could be pushed with separate approval from the UN Sanctions Committee, said Jung. Kim Tong-taek, another researcher at the KINU, argued that it is important to build domestic consensus in favor of inter-Korean economic cooperation. South Korean society's perception of North Korea is still negative, so there is considerable resistance to inter-Korean economic cooperation, said Lim, calling for consensus on cross-border economic exchanges and boosting private sector capabilities. YCM@yna.co.kr, and